With Galactus finally making his big screen debut in Fantastic Four First Steps, which is arguably the best part of the movie, you know we had to do an episode centered around him. So today we're going to talk about characters who have been able to defeat the Devourer of Worlds across Marvel history. We're also going to drop some Fantastic Four trivia questions randomly throughout the episode, and the first person to give us all the correct answers in one comment post down below will win 2 tickets to see the Fantastic Four in theaters. So be watching for those. Now for the first character on our list, we have to start with Galactus' very first defeat in comics, which took place in Fantastic Four issue 50. In this story, Galactus is coming to devour Earth, but the Watcher does what he's not supposed to do, and that is interfere. You see, even the Watcher just couldn't sit back and let Galactus consume Earth, so he tells the Fantastic Four about a weapon that could even take down Galactus. At this point, Johnny Storm goes to retrieve it from Galactus' world ship, and when he returns to Earth with it, he gives it to Reed, who shows it to the Watcher, saying, "Is this the weapon we need?" He replies, "Yes. Only that contains the proper alien element." Reed then turns it on, but the Watcher says, "Stop, you must never turn the control lever to full power. It could erase the entire solar system in 1 microsecond. Now heed me as I tell you what must be done." As the Watcher explains to Reed how to use this weapon, which by the way is the ultimate nullifier, one of the most powerful weapons in all of Marvel. Once the Watcher teaches Reed how to use it, Reed goes to Galactus with the ultimate nullifier in hand, stretching it towards his face, saying, "It's you who will perish, for we have found the weapon at last." Galactus says, "The ultimate nullifier in the hands of a human? In the name of the eternal cosmos, put it down. Your feeble mind cannot begin to comprehend its power. You hold the means to destroy a galaxy, to lay waste to a universe." Reed responds, "And should the universe crumble, can Galactus survive?" Galactus then turns to the Watcher saying, "You did this. Only you had the power. Only you had the will. You have given a match to a child who lives in a tinderbox." The Watcher replies, "Agreed. This world belongs to these children. Is my action not just?" The Watcher then says, "Galactus, there are other planets. We both know full well that the universe is endless. Destroying a race cannot be the answer." Galactus says, "I grow weary. The prize is not worth the battle. Let the human surrender his weapon and I shall tarry here no longer." The Watcher then says to Reed, "Do as he says, mortal. The promise of Galactus is living truth itself. His word can never be questioned." So Reed gives him the ultimate nullifier and Galactus retreats to find another universe to devour. Moving along, we have the time Thanos defeated several of the most powerful forces and entities in the Marvel Universe. I'm talking the likes of Eternity, Celestials, Master Order, Lord Chaos, and of course, Galactus. Now this all went down in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, issue 5 to be exact. You see, in the issue, Thanos has already gathered all the Infinity Gems, at which point the most powerful cosmic entities in the universe unite to be like, "Hey buddy, you need to knock it off before we make you knock it off." But Galactus just replies, "I believe you'll discover the horizons of my imaginings are far wider than you would suspect, Lord Chaos. You address omnipotence, tread carefully. Be gone, foolish godlings, or suffer my celestial wrath." That's right, Thanos with the Infinity Gems was able to single-handedly, no pun intended, take down the greatest entities in the Marvel Universe. He systematically takes down Lord Chaos, Master Order, Mephisto, Eternity, and of course, the Devourer of Worlds, Galactus. And once he's defeated them, he imprisons them above his throne, saying, "It is truly best this way. Divinity calls for clear thinking, unburdened with chaotic emotion. Let me be rid of all illusions. For I am Thanos, I am supreme." It's just an awesome takedown by the Mad Titan. Alright, for the next character who has taken down the mighty Galactus, we have to talk about the time the Beyonders swatted Galactus like a fly in 1994's Secret Wars issue 1. If you're not familiar with the Secret Wars story event, basically what happens is the Beyonder takes a bunch of Earth's heroes and villains and transports them to a space station to ultimately have them fight on Battleworld. He tells them, "I am from the beyond. Slay your enemies and all that you desire shall be yours. Nothing you dream of is impossible for me to accomplish." But Galactus isn't about this and is like, "I'm not going to participate in your little game and fight on this Battleworld planet you made." So he looks up to where this voice is coming from, saying, "Beyonder, hear me. Hear Galactus. I sense that you are truly a being from beyond this universe, this multiverse." From here, he basically says to the Beyonder, "I know you possess the power to take away this insatiable hunger from me." Literally saying, "You could end my ceaseless, monstrous craving for the very essence of living worlds. Let it be done. I will not let some petty charade delay my respite. The torment must end now." So he flies his butt up to the Beyonder to force him to take away his insatiable hunger for worlds, at which point Dr. Doom, being Doom, follows behind him, being like, "Maybe I could sneak behind Galactus and get the hell out of Dodge." But as Galactus flies closer to the Beyonder, he says, "I will not. I must not be denied." But ultimately, when he gets too close, Galactus is just one-shotted, being knocked out by the Beyonder. And it was the same for Dr. Doom. At this point, Captain America, watching from below, says, "They were swatted swatted back like flies. Then Xavier, in complete and utter shock, says, "To the Beyonder, even Galactus is less than a fly, Captain." Yeah, Galactus is incredibly powerful, but this just demonstrates how much more powerful the Beyonder is. Not only does he have the power to take away Galactus's hunger, but evidently he can just swat him away like a fly. But that leads us to our first Fantastic Four trivia question. Here you go.
Why does Galactus appear in his iconic purple armor specifically to humans, while looking different to other alien species?
Okay, next up we have the time Thanos knocked Galactus on his butt without the Infinity Stones. In the issue, we see the Titan face off against the Devourer of Worlds. Once again, with Thanos telling Galactus, "You stand on the edge of abyss, Devourer. Heed my words, Galactus, you have been tricked." Galactus turns around saying, "Who dares?" As Thanos walks in saying, "One who only wishes to save you from a disastrous blunder. I beg you to shut down this device." Essentially, Thanos tricked Galactus to come here for his own gain. And Galactus responds to the Titan saying, "I should have eliminated you earlier, an error I shall now rectify." Thanos just snarls saying, "So much for reasoning, but in truth, I always knew this matter would have to be settled the hard way." As he blasts Galactus with such a powerful energy blast, it sends him flying through the ship out into space, landing on a moon. The blast and impact was so powerful it actually knocks Galactus's helmet off, revealing his face and fiery red eyes, as he gets up on one knee saying, "Full alert, immediately locate and destroy Thanos of Titan." So while Thanos without the Infinity Gems can't overpower Galactus with sheer strength, he's still powerful enough to put up a fight and knock Galactus on his butt. Next, we have the instance in which Thor kills Galactus in Thor issue 6 from the 2020 Donny Cates run. But first, here's trivia question number 2.
In the Marvel Mangaverse, how is Galactus depicted differently from his standard humanoid appearance in the main Marvel continuity?
Alright, so in issue 6 of Donny Cates' Thor run, Thor became the newest Herald of Galactus, and together they were both going to take down the Black Winter, who Galactus is the Herald to. Now after the Black Winter attacks both of them, Galactus tells Thor quickly, "While the Black Winter is in this form, we must," but Thor just calls lightning down on Galactus saying, "Stay down." Galactus replies, "You would strike Galactus? How dare you? We are all that stands between the Black Winter and the universe." Thor says, "Wrong. I am all that stands between the winter and you, and I am not done with you. Not yet." Galactus replies, "So be it," and starts blasting the power cosmic at Thor, but Thor just blocks it with his hammer while flying towards the Devourer of Worlds, as Galactus says, "I am more powerful than I have ever been, little god. You have never faced such power." But Thor replies while continuing to fend off his power cosmic, "Power I allowed you to have, Devourer. Power you have stolen. You have lied to me, played me like a pawn in a battle I did not begin. I am the son of Odin, king of Asgard, ruler of the 10 realms, god of thunder and storm. And you are the errand boy of a hailstorm." Clearly making fun of Galactus, saying he is the Herald of the Black Winter. And all this is happening while he knocks Galactus down, and while Galactus tries to get back up, he says, "My power." Thor tells him, "I've taken it, as I have taken the power cosmic held inside of your shell before." Galactus says, "But the Winter, we must defeat." Thor says, "I will deal with it. You will not survive the fight. I have no need of you, save your power. If the Winter wants you." Galactus then raises his hand trying to attack Thor, but Thor says, "Gallon of Ta, on behalf of the countless planets you have destroyed and laid barren in your wake, I sentence you to death." He then throws Mjolnir into Galactus's chest with the power cosmic and the power of storm and thunder, one-shotting Galactus as we see him turn into a corpse before eventually becoming dust with nothing but his armor left. That's right, the God of Thunder one-shotted Galactus. This is actually one of my favorite moments in comics from one of my favorite runs in comics. Donny Cates just killed this Thor title. But let's round this out with one final banger moment of Galactus meeting his end, and that's from Fantastic Four issue 603. In the issue, Galactus goes up against 4 Celestials, and during the battle, he's able to take one out. But the other 3 Celestials don't like that so much, so they combined with the Fallen One, merging all 4 Celestials into a gigantic Super Celestial, at which point, with a wave of their hand, they kill Galactus, sending his corpse flying back down to Earth. Yeah, Galactus just got taken out with a wave of a hand by a Super Celestial. But to add insult to injury, in issue 604 of the series, Franklin Richards shows up and shows just how powerful he is, by not only easily evading the Super Celestial, but he then proceeds to be like, "Playtime's over, I'm gonna take you out," as he uses his powers to say, "Rise, rise to me, my Galactus," as he brings him back to life and then uses him as a pit bull, so to speak, to take down the Super Celestial. So not only was Galactus killed by a Super Celestial with one hand, but on top of that, he was brought back to life by Franklin Richards, only to be used as a pawn to take down the Super Celestial. It's one of the coolest stories that involves Galactus being defeated by a character. But before we wrap things up, here's the third and final trivia question. Good luck.
In the Hercules Twilight of a God miniseries, what catastrophic event happens to Galactus after he consumes too many planets, and how is it ultimately resolved?
Alright, drop your answers to all 3 trivia questions in a single comment on this video for a chance to win those tickets to see the Fantastic Four. But that also wraps up our look at the several characters who have taken down Galactus over the years. He's certainly one of the most powerful entities in Marvel, but not powerful enough that he hasn't been beaten on several occasions. So we'll see how the Fantastic Four fare against him in the new movie. With that said, what do you guys think of Galactus, and what's your favorite moment where Galactus has fallen? Also, what do you think of his arrival in the MCU? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments.